Hi students, I'm Professor M. I will be teaching the English 141 Detective and Mystery Fiction, which starts today, February 8th, Super Bowl Monday, how about? Okay, so I don't have my umbrella and my overcoat and my revolver. No, I don't really have one. But this is what you're in for. So what's the obsession with detective and mystery fiction? It's usually about murder. How? Why? How can humans do that to another human? And of course you can get into the emotions. You can get into the head of the law enforcement. Of course also the amateur sleuths and people that just happen upon murder and get involved in it indirectly. That's also been a part of it. Okay, so I think one of the big obsessions is with murder. How can we do that? How can this happen? And of course on a lot of the crime shows, like even if you watch Inspector Morse on PBS or KVCR, which you should be watching since that's our station part of the college. Oxford, I mean, come on, not that many murders really occur in Oxford, but for the show it happens. You have to kind of believe that this is going on. Another one that I find really good that I'm going to ask you to watch some, if not, Inspector Morse and his assistant. Notice his assistant is usually the one who solves the crimes. It's called Professor T on Monday nights, 10 p.m. on PBS. You can also find them on YouTube. I'll probably post some for you to watch, or at least take a look at it. Keep an open mind for this course. I mean, you're not going to like everything, but you're not going to hate everything either. Okay, so you can also, since it's such a fledgling area, there's so many authors, so many stories, even kids. I mean, I remember my daughter getting those, I forget the junior books where the kid solves mysteries. Anyway, so Professor T, I'll be watching that tonight, Monday night, 10 p.m. on PBS. Great story. He's a survivor of trauma. Looks like he might have schizophrenia, but he is a professor of criminal law or criminal justice. And his student is now the beautiful blonde woman is the chief inspector. And I forget the name of the town. Is it in Brussels or is it in Netherlands? I think it's Netherlands. Okay. But on the show, it's also multilingual. They speak Dutch. They speak Flemish, which I guess is like French, and also perfect English. So it's an incredible show where they just switch from language to language. Has subtitles, don't worry. Okay, so this obsession with murder, the reasons behind it, then what's the attitude of the investigator or the police towards that? And you'll even see, frankly, Lewis covering up for Morse and not seeking justice. And Professor T, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of that yet, but I really think it's going to be an interesting show. Others, yes. There's the Irish writer. Let me see if I can find his book. Ken Byrne, Killing of the Tinkers. We're not going to read anything by him, but it's worth mentioning his book where he takes the law. He's a former policeman turned private eye, and he takes the law into his own hands at the end there. And kills the suspect himself. Okay, probably because of too many Xanax and too much Irish whiskey, since it takes place in Western Ireland outside Galway. Okay, other books, other great books. Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. Great set. You can see the movie too with Sean Connery. Excellent movie that actually follows the book, unlike some of the ones we're going to see that don't follow the book, like Gone Girl or The Snowman. The Snowman? Yeah. So those don't. Great. So back to The Name of the Rose. A great story. Medieval murder mystery. And the clues, everything is real, and it's just very believable. And that only has really one female character, and she's something to look at. Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of the movie. Okay, so let's move on from there. A little bit about myself. I had a hearing loss as a kid, so I was never a good reader. But then I started reading stories by Sherlock Holmes. Later I got into Edgar Allan Poe, but not Poe's horror stories as much as his detective stories. So the origin of the detective story is actually from Edgar Allan Poe, American writer, and we'll be reading a couple of his stories. We'll get into, but back to my story. So I was a poor reader. My grandfather thought, well, this guy's a little different because I've got 4 brothers and no sisters. He's more like the military track. He's not really the university track. So then, I ended up going to Catholic high school. My father bribed the counselor and got me in there. And I still remember that envelope full of money that he gave the priest and to get me in there. But before then, I was probably set on being a military track, soldier, army kind of kid. But so instead of, and then I was thinking about being a policeman. That never came to fruition. I ended up getting a degree in philosophy and then in English, and I always really loved mysteries. And started with Sherlock Holmes. I read all those. I never would read anything else, but I read all his stories and got really fascinated by them. The clues and his Sherlock Holmes, his lifestyle. 221 B Baker Street. Mrs. Hudson, the assistant, Dr. Watson, the pipe, the outfits, his attitude, his speech, his gestures, everything. And of course, he was on cocaine or whatever, but I'm not. So what else we can talk about besides that? Where we're going in the course. So as I mentioned, Poe, and then we'll get into Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie, and then on to novels and women writers, and so there's a huge variety. Okay, and we'll also try to get into some amateur sleuths and puzzles from this area. And there's also a mystery club that used to meet. The last meeting was in Long Beach, but you have to pay, I think, $200 to go. So we'll look into that as well. Okay, so just a little introduction. So I ended up, instead of being a police officer, which I always wanted to be as a kid, I ended up teaching English. So now I'm teaching solving crime mysteries in books rather than being a police officer or in the military. Okay, so enough about me. So I'll be posting everything shortly. Grading will be fair. You think there's about 100 points for this course. You'll have weekly discussions. We'll be on Zoom once a week, office hours, both through email on Friday mornings, 8 till 10. Thursday night, I believe at 8 till 9, I have office hours on Zoom. And we'll have class, I think, Tuesdays. 4 to 5 on Tuesdays. So if you can't make that, listen to the recording. Okay, have I said enough? So this is the beginning of something new. This is the first time we've offered this course. So enjoy, read, ask questions, make comments, and let's see if we can solve some mysteries together. Okay.